surfaces of revolution. What this is? This yesterday or day before yesterday I gave an example. If you have a profile and you rotate about an axis the way a potter can do, you can create shapes. Okay, like this wine glass, the same example I gave you earlier also. So generating profile is this. This is your generating profile. This rotates about an axis given by this. Okay, so this is your axis of revolution. You rotate it any direction, it is same. So doing so, it will give you a wine glass like uptake. Okay, again you have something like a straight line. A straight line rotated about an axis, inclined straight line will give you a cone like of shape. So what type of cone is this? What type of cone is this? Obviously an hollow cone. Yes, this is open from bottom. Okay, this is open from bottom. Hope you got it. Why it is so? Because if you rotate something like this about an vertical axis, then you will get a closed cone. From the bottom one also you will have a lid. Okay, now that it is just a straight line inclined, it was not like this. So when you rotate it, it will not create this boundary. Okay, so that is why it is like this. Got it? Again, you have a semicircle and you have rotated, it will create a hollow sphere. Okay, if at all it is a disk, it will create a solid sphere. So now I am talking about surfaces of revolution. So I have taken just a line, moved it so as to create a swept surface. So because that sweeping is happening about an axis through a rotation axis, so it is creating a symmetrical surface also. So torus, if you want to create, you have to rotate a circle which is at a distance of small r from the main axis of rotation. Okay, and then you rotate it. You get what? You get a torus. Okay, got it? So these are some of the surfaces of revolution. Okay, now we'll see what is special about this, why I'm talking about this. There is a theorem called Pappus-Guldinus theorem, number 1. There is another one also that will come. Okay, so the area of surface of revolution, okay, area of a surface of revolution is equal to length of generating curve times distance moved by the centroid of area while surface is being generated. You got it? Why is it so? Swept surface. So length of the generating curve. So if this is your length of the generating curve, this has rotated about an axis. Okay, rotated about an axis. Okay, so total area will be what? Centroid of this small piece, which has rotated. Okay, centroid of that times the distance traveled by the centroid while it was rotated, when it was rotated. Got it? So that is what it says. Can we prove this also? Let us see. Okay, so this is what it says. So centroid of the generating curve, that is here, y bar is equal to y times of dl, y times, this is y dl by total length, L is the total length. If you take this one, so that should be y bar. This is your standard thing. There is nothing special over here. Got it? And elemental area of this small strip shown in different color over here. So that is equal to 2 pi times of y. 2 pi times is the complete circle that is there. Okay, that is the circumference of that circle, because that inclination or whatever is there is supposedly very small and thin. So I directly multiplied by dl to get the area of that small strip that goes around. Okay, so this small area will be equal to 2 pi y, that is circumference, and its width dl, so that gave me dA. Okay, so hope this is quite clear. Elemental strip area is quite okay. Okay, so total area will be equal to, just integrate that, you will get total area, and it comes out to be 2 pi times of y dl. So y dl need not to get stuck here, rather y dl 2 pi is already there, a we already know. Okay, a we already know from this theorem itself. So y dl, y bar and L. Y bar you can substitute directly from here. Okay, doing so you will get area as this. Okay, using this and substituting it here. Okay, you can quickly get this. Just watch it carefully. Once again, I am cleaning it off so that you can see that clearly. Okay, got it? Yes, y bar, I have just used this, put it here and simplified it to get area is equal to this. So this is what is the statement of this. 2 pi y bar times of L. 2 pi y bar is the mean. Okay. Yes, centroid of this strip. Yes, or that is small strip, that is y bar into L. Okay, so that is what is this. L is the total length of this generating curve. This is the generating curve length, and this, that is the y bar. Y bar may be somewhere over here, that is there. Okay, so if you rotate it, you will get the complete area. So this is a method to find out the area of surface which is a swept surface most of the time. Okay, so you don't need to do it in 2D, rather you can do everything in 1D. Over here, if you know, you can just calculate it using this Pappus-Guldinus theorem 1. So this is first theorem, and then you have theorem 2 also. What this says, the volume of body of revolution is equal to generating area times the distance moved by the centroid of area while generating the volume. You got it? That means if you have a square as it is shown here, okay, so this square will have some centroid, okay, centroid which is at a distance y bar from the axis of rotation. Okay, so if you rotate this small rectangle around that axis, so you will create a volume, because this is an area, this is going to create a solid. Okay, that is a volume. So volume of that will be y bar, 2 pi y bar times of 2 pi y bar times of this area. And what is y bar? Y bar is the centroid of that area measured from this axis of rotation. So you got it? What this theorem is going to tell? Very good. So using that only, similar technique. Okay, centroid of generating curve as it is given by this. So it is this, you know, earlier from our earlier thing also. So volume will be equal to 2 pi y into dA. dA is the small elemental strip which is at a distance y, y. Okay, y dA. Okay, so it comes out to be 2 pi is a constant that will come out, and y dA will be moment of that area. Okay, so that will remain, and it is equal to y bar times of A. Okay, y bar times of a, this should be equal to y bar times of a. So substituting that, you can quickly get this volume. So this is just a theorem. Using this, many big volumes you can do find out quite easily. So area of a torus, how much will that be? Let us say you have a torus of radius, this radius r, and the bigger radius of capital R. So how much will be the volume of that torus? 2 pi r, yes. 2 pi r is the distance, 2 pi capital R, right? Into pi r square. So that will be the volume of that torus. Very good. So you got it what I am trying to say. Okay. So pi r square is the area. Centroid of that area, you know, it is at the center. So that is at a distance r. So centroid travels the distance of 2 pi capital R while it does that revolution about this axis. So you have multiplied 2 pi r times of, this is the distance traveled by the centroid into area of that generating area. Okay, so that is there, that surface has got area of this. So this is what, so this is what is given by Pappus Guldinus theorem 2. So second one talks about the volume, the first one talks about the area. Okay, so that is what, so using, yes, yes, no, nothing, there is no condition as such. Okay, that is compensated. The bottom one, if it is subtracting some volume, upper one is adding the equal amount of that. So you don't need to take care of that. It comes by a calculus using this. Okay, so ultimately there is no assumptions here. Okay, I understood what you are trying to. This area is significantly smaller than the this. So you need not to take care of that. Area can be bigger also. So it never said so. And why? Because centroid gives you a location above which you are trying to travel more, below which you are trying to travel less. Okay, effectively that everything gets compensated somewhere. Okay, so need not to take care of that personally. Okay, formula will take care of that. So using Pappus Guldinus theorem, we'll try to find out one of the surface area which is here. Okay, so from example 4, why I have directly used this, let me just tell you. Okay, so this is your small generating surface. Okay, this is a generating surface, that is, first let me explain this question itself. Okay, it is r, this is your small r, that gives you the radius of this generating surface about a point, which is at a distance 2r, this is given. Okay, 2r is given. Okay, and you created something like this. So this angle is again 90 degree. This angle is 90 degrees. So it creates a generating arc. So this arc is generated by a point which follows this locus. You got it? So it is pi r by 2. So this length of this will be pi r by 2. Hope this is quite clear. It is quarter of a circle, 2 pi r by 4. So it is quarter of a circle. So length is simply pi r by 2. Okay, this distance is well known. Okay, now you also know this. How do you know this? Centroid of this type of piece from this. This you just did earlier in our earlier example. Is it not? Yes. So exactly the same result I am using it here. Okay, let us just go there and see whether it was exactly this 2r by pi. Yes, yes, yes. It is 2r by pi. Yes. So it is 2r by pi x bar. X bar will be 2r by pi. x bar. So if it is like this, it will be 2r by pi for alpha is equal to 90 degree. Got it? So that result is used here. So from there I am directly using that result to go here. Okay, so it is 2r by pi that I have used. So I know this distance. Okay, I know this distance, that is centroid of this piece about this point. Okay, from this point if you measure, it is this. Okay, I have to find out about this axis. Okay, so that is what remains. So let me clear it off a bit. So most of the terms that are here, you got this. So let us begin using Pappus-Guldina's theorem. So area will be equal to 2 pi x bar times this x bar has to be the distance from this axis, not this axis. So it will be 2r minus this should give you that. Hope you got it. So x bar will be 2r minus this. Got it? So that is what we are using. So x bar is known. L is pi r by 2 x bar from here. So total area will be something like this. So now you got it. Okay. So this is how you can calculate surfaces of complex geometry, at least the geometries which are made up of these small primitive shapes. Primitives are circular arc, linear things, or a combination of those. Okay. So I think with this, centroid of curvilinear boundary is yet another example that I can do, maybe if I have time. So yes, so Pappus-Guldina's theorem, I think it is quite clear to you all. One is about creating an area out of surface which is created out of linear segments which are rotated about an axis. Another one is about area if it is rotated about axis, it will create a volume. So that is theorem 2. Okay, that's all. So let us begin with our earlier thing, that is centroid of shapes with curved boundaries. You know, you are very good at integration. You can do it in no time. So definitely if you can express your curves well using some sort of form, y is equal to function of x, you do integration, you can find out. So let us do it to one of them, similar one. Okay, so the centroid in terms of a and b, one of them is a, another side is b. This curved line is given by y is equal to k times, k is the constant, x is the variable, a is this distance. Okay, this distance. So that is how it is defined. Hope you got the definition part of it. Okay, very good. So now we can begin. We can do it from either direction first. So let us begin from y axis first, taking x as an elemental strip dx, which is at a distance x. So you can find out quickly where is its centroid. Centroid will be at a distance of y by 2. Is it not? Y by 2. Why? Because it is a linear segment. Linear is small thin segment. So centroid will be exactly at its center. So it is y by 2 from x axis. Very good. Okay, so that is there. So now you know its distance from this is known, dx is the strip, you know the area also. Okay, so that is these results we'll use now to go ahead. Okay, so elemental strip area will be equal to y times of dx. So y is simply this, is it not? Y is simply this. So y you can directly put here dx. Okay, then comes area will be equal to integral of dA. It gives me this. So you have to see your boundaries. A varies because x ranges from 0 to a. I am integrating from here to here, so it is 0 to a. Okay, so total area can be found out. So total area also is not that trivial. You have to find out using integral. Okay, so this is only area that I have found out. So from this figure at x is equal to 0, y is equal to b. So using that you can find out area is equal to AB by 3. So this is a very useful result. Okay, this is quite useful result. AB by 3, it directly gets in terms of constants, total area. Okay, and this k also was constant, but you cannot have a quadratic curve with more than 3 definitions. Okay, so over here 2 were enough. So either you can have in terms of a and k or a and b. So why not better have it in terms of a and b. So this is something is an useful result that way. So again qx will be equal to y by 2 times of dA. Hope you got this. Qx I am talking about, Qx. So y by times of dA. This is the elemental strip area dA. So this is moment of area. This is moment of area about x axis this time. Okay. So y by 2 times of dA. So Qx is also equal to this. So now how this has come? I have just substituted y over here, is it not? Y which is shown here can be directly substituted from the given equation, right? This one. Okay. So it is y by 2 times of dA. dA. So it is, just a sec, let me, yes, just let me clear it off a bit. Got it? Very good. So it is directly can be written like this, and it comes out to be this. So again, the rest is just integration, you can do in no time. Again you try to express everything in terms of constants, that is a and b, that is what was done. Similarly you can do about x axis as well. Okay, y bar, it comes out to be 3 by 10 times of b. X bar will also be similar because this geometry itself is symmetrical in terms of x and y, is it not? You can go x, replace x with y, things remains the same. So that is why this result is also true. Okay, every time you don't need to do it both ways. Okay, so in these type of cases, no, you can directly write like this. You don't need to do both ways. By symmetry, if you replace x by y, everything will be similar. Okay, so that is how this has been done, or you can do it by integration, doesn't matter. Okay, hope you got it till here. Only you are getting, or anyone else is also getting equally good? That's all. Thanks a lot.